Despite a promising start, the Nittany Lions suffer their first home loss of the season. 2 opportunities against elite opponents, Ohio State and Michigan, both fall incomplete.
It's close. It's just the margin of error in college football is extremely small.
The consequence and fallout from the subpar performance includes a coaching change on offense. Why Mike Yursich is let go with 2 games left in the regular season.
Sitting there talking, and he just like, man, you got a hell of a story, man. It should be a movie.
And he's a former Penn State standout with an even more successful career after football. The reason super agent Chafie Fields was the inspiration for HBO's series Ballers. It's time for Nittany Game Week. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Nittany Game Week. I'm Todd Sadowski alongside former Nittany Lions coaches Jay Paterno and Tom Bradley. A strange year, mainly because of a strange schedule. 2 elite opponents, which means 2 opportunities to elevate on the national stage. That's why there's a lot of frustration and disappointment about the result against Michigan.
Well, you build everything up, you set some goals, and now all of a sudden they're gone. And now you got to finish the season out, and that's a challenge.
And you don't want to have that loss affect this week's games. You better get your stuff together, because if you're feeling sorry for yourself, it's going to cause you problems on Saturday.
We start off with a review of the offense and defense versus the Wolverines and discuss the Mike Yursich coaching change that happens before the end of the regular season in our opening drive. Well, inconsistent might best describe the performance of the offense. After they settle for a field goal in the red zone, they convert a couple of 4th downs, and Drew Aller runs one in for the score. After that, though, they go very quiet, especially in key moments, Jay.
Well, Michigan did a good job of getting them get their defense getting off the field. 6 of 18 on 3rd and 4th downs for Penn State's offense during the course of the game. In a game like that, that's a big deal.
And then Michigan goes stealth and just runs the ball out the whole second half.
We mentioned that turnovers would be so key. The Nittany Lions didn't get any, and then just one critical one at the beginning of the 3rd quarter.
No question. And, you know, that's what we talked about all year is Penn State has been reliant on the turnovers and 4th down stops. They didn't get either of them in this game, and that really showed.
Well, Drew Aller, 28 of 64 for 261 yards, 2 scores, 0 picks combined against Ohio State and Michigan. He understands it's not good enough to beat a top-flight team like the Wolverines.
There were times where we just stopped ourselves and killed our momentum on offense. Then we weren't able to sustain drives, keep our defense off the field, give them a break.
It's the first home loss for Drew Aller as a starter.
Well, I think on the defensive side, Tom, the defense really, they were challenged physically. They fought all the way through the end except for that last touchdown run, and then when Michigan ran the clock out at the end.
I think, and the other thing, I think the defense played well. I think what happened, they just got worn down as Michigan kept pounding the ball, realizing we just don't want to make a mistake here and give them good field position, so let's just keep running that football.
It really takes a toll when they come at you straight ahead like that.
No doubt. I mean, when they got the turnover, they ran 13 plays, took 8 minutes off the clock, and got the field goal to make it an 8-point game, and those are tough.
And they weren't going to turn the ball over at that point. They're saying, hey, we got this game where we want it. Let's just keep running and we'll take the clock down and not give them an opportunity. And if they stop us, let's punt it and give them a long field.
The defense knows they let just a few plays get away from them.
Bring out our 3rd down, you know, we're expecting a pass, and we're defending that, you know, the deep pass, things like that. And I just felt like they came out and were running the ball, something that we not usually used to when things like that happen. And so, I mean, we just had to defend and run better on those things like that, and we'll figure out what it was, where the gaps were that opened up, and then we'll clean that up.
A busy day for Winston and the secondary in run support. Once the game is over, evaluation and then action from Coach Franklin as he lets his offensive coordinator go with 2 games remaining in the regular season. So for Coach Yursich, he's no longer the OC. A couple other guys are going to step up, Coach Howell, Coach Sider, see what they can do for the last 2 games. But a coaching change with just a couple of games left.
It's tough. It's not my cup of tea to do that with 2 games left. Plus, in this league, you'd much rather be a defense coordinator than an offensive coordinator because the offenses in this league average about 89th in total offense. Defenses average about 36. So you're definitely looking at a defense-heavy league if you're an offensive coordinator.
There's also the human side to coaching. You know, you have families and he has kids that go to school, and there's a lot of different things that go into this by letting them go early.
Yeah, for Coach Franklin, he was asked why now and the timeline behind the decision.
If you've gotten to the point where you feel like that's what you're going to do, I'm not great at like faking it. I want to be as transparent and as upfront as I possibly can be. So when you get to the point where you feel like that's the right decision, then I think you make it.
So for the offense, they get to see what they can do home against Rutgers and then finishes out on Friday night of Thanksgiving weekend against Michigan State. He's been focused on it several weeks and had an upfront view of the loss. Andrew Callista gives us his post-game thoughts from Beaver Stadium on the Nittany Lions' disappointing result.
Guys, my thoughts come right from the house of 409. My immediate reaction of what I liked and didn't like for Penn State versus Michigan. First and foremost, to play on Veterans Day, an incredible atmosphere. The game starts with 2 Super Hornets and a flyover, and what a moment at halftime. Ed Sirianni from Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania, an Air Force veteran who served in Vietnam. He and his wife Cheryl, they have been ushers at Beaver Stadium for 10 years. Ed just attended his 500th straight Penn State game. He's honored on the field at halftime, not for his love of Penn State, but also his dedication for his country.
It's quite a tour, quite a long road. 41 years, I'm all in.
As for the football game, what I saw, a Penn State that was uncommitted. Early on in the game, a short 4th and goal, Penn State opts for a field goal. If you don't make it, it's a long field with a great defense, and Michigan backed up to the students. Later on, chasing points with 2-point conversions. The motive behind it, how many chances do you get? I just don't think those two things match up, but I understand hindsight is 20/20, and the best team did win on Saturday. Plenty of signs in this college football game, but in the end, J.J. McCarthy and the Wolverines sent the college football a sign that with or without Jim Harbaugh, they are here to play the rest of this season.
Still to come, our scouting report. If there's ever a team that reminds you there are 3 phases of football, it's Rutgers. How the Scarlet Knights special teams could be critical this week against Penn State. And welcome back to Nittany Game Week. We've all seen it and heard about it before. Don't let a team beat you twice. The hangover from Michigan better not linger with the Scarlet Knights riding into Happy Valley. Coach Bradley, Coach Paterno, it's a program and team on the rise, and I know you'll be covering offense, defense, and special teams.
Yeah, they've made a living this year. They're bowl eligible. They're 6-4 coming in. This is a better Rutgers team than Penn State's seen in a while. Starts with them liking to run the ball. May see 32 runs in a row. I don't know. But look at them offensively. Not scoring a lot of points, but much improved from last year. They like to run the ball. Turnover margin, Tom, +5. Very important.
That's very important, the way they play football, and that's what you said. They're going to run this football and try to shorten the game.
Guys to know, Kyle Monangai, the leading rusher in the Big Ten, 21st in the country in rushing yards. 77% of the completions go to the wide receiver. They don't throw it a lot. Wimsatt is a dangerous runner. Let's talk about that run game. Much like Michigan, got to try and get north and south. Good, tough inside running backs. They try and push that off the line, Tom, and talk about the open field running.
Yeah, and one of the things you got to be wary. He likes to keep the ball, the quarterback. You've got to know where he's going to be, too, not just where the running back is. So the key is going to be the push up front for Rutgers Saturday.
And you see him in the open field. Now, let's talk about, you alluded to it, reading the end. Now, here they're going to block down again. This is a veteran offensive line, a better offensive line than last year. They're much improved and different physically. They're going to read him. Wimsatt is going to read that end, keep this ball, and watch him in the open field. Don't be fooled. It doesn't look like he's running that fast. He's what we call a long strider, covered a lot of ground with those strides.
Do you think he was exhausted by the time he got there?
I'm exhausted watching him run that long. But, again, those are dangerous plays in this game, and Penn State's got to account for him. Again, look at this nice move here in the open field. Again, he gets loose. If you're playing man-to-man coverages and things in the back, he can be a real problem if you don't take care of him. And, again, with that threat of Monangai, it can be a problem. Let's talk about the next phase of it. Every week, Greg Schiano likes to have some kind of gimmick, trick play, something to take advantage of you. Here they get Ohio State. And again, everybody's expecting the quarterback sneak, the tush push, the whatever you want to call it, and they get him on this one. I'm not even going to explain it because you got to watch it to see it. So let's take a look at it. Oh, QB sneak. Nope. Whoops. There he goes. There goes Monangai outside. And you can see his skills there getting outside, Tom, against a really good Ohio State defense.
For sure. And he's an excellent runner. And that's one of the things that you're going to see this week in this game is they're going to be running the football.
And he had 159 yards rushing against Ohio State. Nobody else has done those kind of numbers against the Buckeyes, and you can see really sneaky play, handing the ball between the legs. Now, let's talk about the defense. That's where Rutgers is really, really good this year. 19th in the country in scoring, 13th in total defense. You talk about some other things, 10th in defensive yards per play nationally, top 20 in things like yards per pass, yards per completion, 4th in the country, 13th in passing efficiency defense. Really, really good. Let's talk about how they do it and the kind of people they use. Two corners that you got to watch, Melton and Longer Beam are both really good corners. They're good at linebacker, and Flip Dixon, their safety, is very active. So let's talk about how they do it. They like to bring pressure, Tom, and you know they get that pressure with 5 guys, and they take away the easy throws so the quarterback has nowhere to go.
Absolutely, and it's because of these two corners. They're not afraid to play these guys and leave them on an island all by themselves, and that really helps this defense.
No question. Take a look at what they do here. Here they bring the linebacker, and again, there's nowhere to go easy for that quarterback to get a play and get what we call a hot throw. And again, they thrive on turnovers. There's the example right there. Now, let's go to the next phase of it. Third down. When you get into third downs, Greg Schiano, defensively, they like to do a lot of different things. Here they're going to show you 5-6-man pressure, end up with only 4, and then they're going to try and rob all your hot throws in the middle so there's nowhere to go with the ball. And then we want to confuse the QB, and Michigan did some of this last week.
Yeah, one of the great things is you'll see just about everybody in this unit drops. So you're not sure who's going to be the dropper when they do bring the 5-man pressure.
No question, and that's the thing you got to be aware of. So you don't throw yourself into an interception, and you don't hold the ball and end up with a sack. Now, let's talk about the third phase. Greg Schiano coaches the special teams themselves. He's always going to find some way to make a play or get a possession. Here they give a 5-man overload on the punt against 4 guys to block. They come off the edge, and they get a touchdown. Tom, you coach special teams. You know what a pain in the butt this is.
That's one of the great things is they have been great on special teams for a long time out there at Rutgers now. This is one of the phases of the game that Penn State has got to be, don't be surprised whether it be on a fake punt. Something's going to happen in the special teams.
And they got 2 touchdowns again, set up 2 touchdowns against Michigan State in that comeback when they beat Michigan State. Here they get one against Indiana. So be aware when special teams line up, something could happen.
Yeah, got to be ready for anything when it comes to Coach Schiano with Coach Yurcich no longer calling the plays. Same goes for the Nittany Lions offense. Rutgers is not exactly sure what to expect.
I don't really know what we can go off of, you know what I mean? Like, I know all the parties involved, and I've known, I've known Juwan since he was a kid in high school. His daddy was the I believe he was the athletic director at Glade Central High School down in Florida. So, I mean, heck, years and years. They're all good coaches. They'll have a great plan put together, I'm sure.
Well, senior day is always emotional. Last time on the field at Beaver Stadium. When we come back, our impact interview with Chafie Fields, former Penn State wide receiver, how his time with the Nittany Lions influenced his current career as a sports agent. And make sure to keep sending us your pride picks. This week's included the stripe out against Michigan. We have quite a collection on our website, NittanyGameWeek.com. You can add yours by submitting it online. We'll have more picks coming up later in the show. Nittany Game Week returns after this.
Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
Well, welcome back to Nittany Game Week. Our impact interview this week is once again one of the Penn State all-time greats, and anyone that hears the name Chafie Fields immediately goes to a game-winning catch for a road top 10 win at Miami. But his career after college has been even more amazing. Currently the executive vice president for team sports at the global powerhouse at Team Wasserman. He works with and represents household names in the NFL and the NBA and other international sports. Chafie, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Todd.
All right, so look, we need to talk first and foremost about the show Ballers on HBO, about a sports agent in Florida, which was based in part on your life. So I want to talk to you about the authenticity of the show And then, of course, The Rock. Really? They couldn't find anybody better looking or in better shape to play your part?
You know what, man? I don't know about the casting. but the show ended up being pretty good, man. The show ended up being pretty good. But yeah, now that's a true story. My former partner, you know, a guy that I started in this business with, was close friends with the gentleman who developed the story and, you know, produced Ballers. And we met Levinson in maybe 3 years before the show came out. And we sitting there talking, and he just like, man, you got a hell of a story, man. This should be a movie. And I'm like, well, you're the producer, write the movie. And we laughed about it. Probably a year and a half later, he came back. He said, I didn't do a movie, but I think it'd be a great series. What do you think? And he started running it down. And lo and behold, Ballers was created.
Hey, Chafie, you're on the professional side in the whole agent game, but as you and people in the industry look at what's happening in college with NIL and collective bargaining and revenue sharing are certainly coming down the road. As you guys talk amongst yourself, how do you guys see this playing out in the college level?
Me personally, I don't think it ends well. Just because college sports is supposed to be amateur sports. And now it's literally becoming professional sports. And let's just use college football for an example. College football and the transfer portal has become free agency. You know, kids can just jump ship at any point. This school is offering me more money. I'm leaving. I'm going to take the money. It's no longer about an education. It's no longer about a culture. It's no longer about the program, the university. And I don't think it's necessarily a good thing for the universities or for the amateurism of college football, basketball, or any other sports. I think that there has to be a better way to compensate the young men and women than just having, you know, the wild, wild west as it is now. Because there's no mandates, it's not organized. Everybody can just do whatever they want to do, and it's getting bad. I mean, to the point that the high school athletes are deciding what college to go to based on how much NIL money is there for them. You know, so they're not going with the intent of graduating. They're not going with the intent of getting any kind of education. They're going with the intentions of simply, they're giving me more money, so that's the best situation for me. And I don't think it's a good thing.
Chaf, you came from Philly as a running back, but established yourself as a game-breaking receiver and a student athlete with bigger plans for life. You also had a great relationship with Joe. How did your time at Penn State get you ready for life after football?
My time at Penn State got me ready for life, generally speaking. And man, you guys were there. Describe this. I don't know if we ever spoke about this, man. But you know, I went to Joe my freshman year, no, my sophomore year, and I said, Coach, I can't sit on this bench another game, man. I say, move me to DB. Move me to DB and let me go in the DB room.
You really wanted to come in that room?
Because I could do it. And for me, it was just, I just wanted to play. And I think for me personally, I had a very, very, very unique relationship with this man that stands over my shoulder to this day. And it was because I sensed and I knew that he genuinely cared about me, the person, the young man, the human being. And it wasn't just about football. We had many conversations, many back and forths, many disagreements, but he always was fair and he always was honest.
Great insight from former Nittany Lion Chafie Fields. We're going to step aside for the TV show to take a break. We will continue our interview. So If you want to see the entire conversation, make sure you go to NittanyGameWeek.com for the full Impact interview along with other web-exclusive content. Still to come, our scrap medal winner. The Wolverines come straight at the Nittany Lions with their rushing attack. This week's award goes to a guy that is really strong on the back end of the defense. We're heading into the final minutes on Nittany Game Week.
Scrap Metal is sponsored by the We Are In, voted #1 game day restaurant in Center County. Follow us on Facebook and visit thewearein.com or call for dinner or room reservations.
It is time to hand out the scrap medal. When a team runs 32 straight times, everyone on the defense needs to jump in and tackle. Safety Kevin Winston Jr. certainly holds up under heavy pressure, Tom.
The 6'2", 203-pounder from Columbia, Maryland, DeMatha Catholic had a game-high 12 tackles, which was his career high. He was All-Met Player of the Year. Interesting enough, his father played at James Madison.
Oh, JMU, your former stomping grounds,
I don't think he was there when I was there.
No, I don't think so.
That was a long time ago.
We like to connect our viewers with businesses that support the show. The location for that is our depth chart at NittanyGameWeek.com. It's an impressive roster of small and big businesses you need to check out for a variety of different services. Our goal is to build a team that keeps our hometowns strong. Depth chart, extended impact interviews, the Overtime podcast, where we dive a little deeper into some college football topics. You can find it all on our website, NittanyGameWeek.com. We appreciate you watching the 30-minute program, of course, and encourage you to consume some of our web-exclusive content. What we found is that most people stay on the website the longest once they find our Pride picks. They're on there watching those things, especially the ones that include Tom over there. Well, make sure you send them in and show us your blue and white spirit. For Jay and Tom, I'm Todd. Thanks so much for watching Nittany Game Week. We'll see you next time.